Let's welcome back to the program Ann Coulter. Ann, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am great. Must give you credit. I think it was probably about a year ago that we spoke to you last. No, it had to be a little bit longer than that because I don't even think Trump had announced his candidacy for president. And I said to you, who were you going to support and who were you going to vote for? And your only answer at that time was you will back the person that had the strongest stance on immigration, which clearly you knew more than we did at that point.
And whoever imagined it would be Donald Trump?
Well, you must have known. How did you know? You had heard rumblings in the camp. You knew he was going to do it. When did you know about the wall?
The same time everyone else did that announcement speech. You know, I'm from the New York area, and I'd never really paid that much attention to Trump. He's it's like the Empire State Building. He's more of a touristy thing.
What a great way to put that. He's always been there by F.L. Schwartz. We just always know he's there.
Right, but New Yorkers were never that really into him. At least that's my impression. And I'm almost embarrassed to say this now. If you had asked me before he announced for president, I probably would have said what a lot of the Never-Trumpers, how they portray him exclusively just as, this loudmouth lout, publicity-seeking, shallow, narcissistic. I would have said, if I said anything at all, I'd never seen The Apprentice. I didn't have much of an opinion of him. And wow, then he gave that Mexican rapist speech and broke my heart forever.
So you're going to tell me that when you were on our show last time and you said you will support the candidate that had the strongest platform about immigration, you were not secretly talking about Trump at that point?
If he hadn't announced yet, no, I wasn't. In fact, up until he announced, weirdly enough, the person with the strongest position on immigration had been Mitt Romney. That's why I supported him the last time around. I go through all the Republican candidates at the end of the last chapter. I think it's the last chapter of my second to last book, Adios America, and I go through all the Republicans running for president and what their positions are. Just a few sentences on each one.
Right.
Jeb Bush, illegal immigration is an act of love. Marco Rubio promises to run against. Promises he will not support amnesty, gets to Washington. And let me unveil my big legislative initiative, amnesty. So the rest of them were just absolute disasters. And then, who knew it could be as great as Trump? Though I must say, in part, and God bless him, I'd pushed the immigration issue. I go out and I give a lot of talks out in America. I travel through America. I see what the problems are in America. I knew this was a huge issue, and I tried to push it desperately on several candidates who ran for president this year or in other years, and they disregarded me. Donald Trump saw me talking about Adios America on Jorge Ramos, and I was on my way to the airport leaving that interview when I got an email from his people saying, please overnight a copy of your book to Mr. Trump. So he read it.
Wow. Do you think Romney would be good in the Trump administration?
Well, Romney is a cautionary tale. Always trust Coulter. I thought he would have been, if he hadn't been such a pill, I thought he would have been a great vice president for Trump. But no, he went and he attacked him. And I don't know. On one hand, yes, I think he'd be fine. He did have the best position on immigration, and the Secretary of State does have a lot to do with immigration.
Right.
Also, he's obviously an attractive, elegant, well-spoken person, but he did say some really awful things about Trump. On the other hand, if he's going to make Nikki Haley his UN ambassador, she, in her response to Obama's State of the Union this year, she used it to attack Donald Trump.
Right, right.
Remember that?
Yes.
He admitted today on Good Morning America, that was an attack on Trump. So this calendar year, in January, both the President of the United States in his State of the Union address and the Republican response were both attacks on Donald Trump. And everybody's trying to figure out why the American people hate Washington.
I have to tell you, I thought more of Trump the day that he met with Romney, because he seemed to me like a guy who will now spend the rest of his career trying to crush Romney and take shots at him every chance again. The next thing you know, he's having meetings with him. So in my mind, I said, well, look, here's a guy who's putting aside his personal feelings for a way to better the country. And I thought that it was a huge positive in this part. Now, whether it plays out or not, I don't know. This is Ann Coulter that we're talking to. Her new book is In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome, which she loves to get out and promote, which obviously was evident with your appearance at the roast. That was a very ballsy move to be out there.
Thank you.
Did you expect that that you would get as much shrapnel as you did?
I suspected I wouldn't be wildly popular with the Hollywood set.
Yeah. Who hated? Who were you most annoyed with?
I wasn't annoyed at all. It was fantastic publicity, and when you're promoting my side, i.e., America's side on immigration, you'll probably run into a big fat blacklist. So the only thing I was disappointed in was that my name wasn't on the marquee. Nobody even knows who was being roasted that night. It was an Ann Coulter roast.
I'll take it. Take it. Who cares? The one thing I do want to ask you about that is that the rumor was that they had offered to provide you comedy from the writers, and you turned it down.
They were awful.
Were they really?
Oh, yes. Awful.
Let's see, that's interesting. I didn't know that part. Usually,
the ones. Well, you saw some of it from the professional comedians. It was. I don't really care. You can call me a C word all night. I'd prefer for it to be funny.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, I don't know if I would have walked away from that. I wouldn't have minded if you would have punched Pete Davidson.
I was the only one who told jokes. And, it's a very useful thing. I think, if I can stand and be called the C word all night, and somebody counted it up, at least the ones they showed on TV, and it was a lot longer in person. It went for more than 3.5 hours. 19
That's a lot of C words.
Then maybe we can all join together and recognize that words don't hurt anyone. So the rest of you can stop fainting and bringing lawsuits when I say illegal alien or sanctuary city or anchor baby or retard. How about we start recognizing sticks and stones?
I can't afford to say that word anymore. That's a good word. What's the number one? See, I've had so many words taken away from me in this job. I miss a lot of them. Yeah.
No, well, okay. Whenever anybody attacks you, just remind them of the Ann Coulter roast.
I'm gonna call somebody an R word and say, "Well, it's because you called her the C." You're like the Jesus of my words. You took all the punishment for me. Ann Coulter's book is In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. It is available at AnnCoulter.com. And it's always good to talk to you, and appreciate you being on the show.
Sure, good to talk to you too. Thanks.